Hello and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music Podcast Edition. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host,
Heather Baker.
We're here with Alexander Craig. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, it's great to have you on. I was looking back and I've seen you play a few times. Of course, I haven't seen you for a while with the whole COVID thing and all, but I think the first time I saw you was at the Silver Dome Ballroom with Southern Culture on the Skids.
That was maybe with Davina and the Vagabonds.
Maybe it was a few years ago now. It was maybe I'm trying to think. I mean, we're talking almost 10 years ago that this would have been Southern Culture on the Skids and Four on the Floor. It was
Oh, okay.
Yeah, long way long time ago. I'm a big fan of Southern Culture on the Skids, so that's how I would have found myself at the Silver Dome Ballroom. Although I know I think you've played there a couple times.
Yeah, I've played at the Silver Dome like 3 or 4 times.
Thanks.
Yeah. One time I played on top of their bar. Like they have well, actually it was on top of their refrigerator. They have like a round refrigerator behind their round bar, and the refrigerator is like 8 feet tall, and they set me up on top of the refrigerator, and I played a show out there once. That was pretty wild.
Nice. That's fantastic. And for folks who haven't been to the Silver Dome Ballroom, is out in Wisconsin. It's an old school ballroom, and I'm maybe the person who updates their website. So sometimes I add your name to the list, and I see you're coming. So it's always kind of fun. And then I remember seeing you play at Famous Dave's a few years more recently, maybe 5 years ago.
Oh yeah. Yep, I played there a lot of times.
Yeah. And I remember I love your music because it's so danceable.
Thanks. Yeah. I kind of strive for that. That's like kind of that's what I'm going for. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like, I mean, you used to play under Crankshaft, and now you're Alexander Craig, and it seems like there's been a little shift in the music along with the shift in the name.
Correct. Yep. So I guess the biggest shift is I'm thinking about like interpersonal communication between people, and then like the bigger picture of things, like collectivism, I guess, trying to like bridge gaps and like remind people that we're all people, and the way that I'm writing kind of like complements that idea.
I got that right away, because I think the way you wrote before was really kind of the everyman story, and it was kind of working class story and all that, and I enjoyed it very much. But I think with the atmosphere we're under, which is on your new 4545, it really had a kind of a just a collective feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I wrote the song, and when I was recording it in the studio, like I was thinking about like all these different experiences that I had with different people, and I just kind of like asked for guidance from a couple people who had passed away right before I hit right before he hit record on the vocal track. That was kind of what happened beforehand. I was kind of praying to a couple different guys that had passed away, and I was just like, give me guidance in this situation. So the writing, like, I guess the idea of that song is like the gift of receiving like a skill or like some type of life philosophy from somebody else. And like the bridge of the song goes, as it passes, we will feel it. Where it's headed, they will too. So it kind of has that, it's a little bit mystic. It's a little bit mysticism, but it's also like, what you gave me can't be lost or broken. It's that receiving that gift from somebody else by some, like a teacher and an apprentice, or like, somebody that's giving you guidance, basically, like a loved one, a family member, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, something like that.
Has anybody told that that has heard your song? Have you heard any cool examples that people are like, oh, it made me think of this or that, just what you created with those lyrics?
Not so much. I've gotten like the flip side of that is All Together, and I've gotten like a lot of feedback on that song. Like, I guess not so much feedback, but like people really dig that song All Together because it's like, it's, I guess it has like meditation, I guess, is like one of the driving factors of that song. So it's like, this song is here, this song is now, this song is them, this song is us, right here, right now. So like, I think in the moment, like at shows, like the feedback that I've gotten about All Together kind of has to do with that chorus line. It like puts people in the now, and that's kind of another one of my goals with like the new frame of mind and writing. People are so like connected with technology right now. Like I feel like I'm kind of like trying to rise above that. So I guess to answer your question, I'm getting like more response from All Together than I am from Atmosphere for Under.
Is that one the one that you wrote in Mexico too? And you?
Yeah, I wrote that song at a buddy of mine, Dave Zen's. He's got a second home in Isla Mujeres, which is an island off the Cancun shoreline. And I was there. I think he left to eat brunch or something like that, and then he didn't come back for like 3 or 4 hours. And then when he came back, I was like, Dave, check it out. I wrote a song while you were gone. And then I read it for him. Like, that's really good. It's like, thanks, man.
I love that. I like. I'm interested. You said you can even hear, or it sounds like created in a hot environment, and I was like, ooh, I want to hear more about that. Like what you hear. I mean, I know the visual that I got when I heard it, but I want to hear your take on that.
So I guess the funny thing, well, it was like a Sunday afternoon, I think, when I was writing that, and like I guess the most humorous part of me writing that song is that there was like Mexican club music blasting from one of the neighbors' houses, just like, I don't know if they were doing yard work or like what was going on, but it was just like Mexican club music. And I don't speak Spanish, so I was just like writing down these lyrics to that as my soundtrack. So I guess like it had to have seeped in there somehow, right?
Yeah, I got a visual of like being down somewhere where it's like packed, and it's just like every type of person you can find and you're hot and sweaty, and everybody's just kind of swaying together, just totally lost in the song. And like Ann said, it's very danceable. But I was like, yeah, when I envisioned it, I was like, yes, we're hot and sweaty and whatever. But I was like, wonder what he hears when he said the hot environment. So I had to ask.
Yeah, it's like when I think of like music that sounds like it's like created in a sultry environment, it's got like, so this is like the rudiments of like rhythm, right? So you have 4 beats, right? So you've got the 1, which is usually the kick drum, and then you got the 2, which is the snare drum, and then you got the 3, which is usually a kick drum, and then you got the 4, which is the snare drum again, right? Okay, so like when music is like, when people are like sluggish when they're playing the music, it sounds like that 2 beat is like late, right? So it's like the 2 beat is getting closer to the 3. And then the 4 is like late, and it's almost getting close back to the 1 again. You know what I mean? So it's got this like, and then the feel that you get from that is like kind of like it's almost like it's too warm to be perfect. So it's like it sways with the feeling of being like, you know, almost uncomfortably warm. You know, like that's the way I think of it anyway. I've written a couple songs like that actually too. I wrote a song called You're So Cool for my girlfriend, and that has like a really late 2 and 4 as well. And my bass player was actually like, man, that is like super Southern sounding, because it just has a really late presentation of the 2 and the 4 beat. So it just kind of has that like lumbering sound, like feel to it, you know?
I love that.
It almost lends to that, as you said, kind of the mantra.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
It's
that
just,
we move together,
yeah.
move together. Yeah, it's very engaging. It's very mesmerizing.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel that too. It's and it's like I said, it's been going over really good at live shows. Back when I was doing Crankshaft, I was playing like anywhere from like 2 to 4 shows a week. I'm not playing that many shows right now because we're still like in an odd time with everything that's going on. But like I'm playing frequently enough that I know that that song is like getting traction with the people that are listening to it, which is super cool. It's super rewarding to like have that come back, you know, after you create something like that.
And you have a great following. I'll dance on an empty dance floor, but you got the dance floor full most of the time. I mean, it's no, maybe after people have a drink or two, but I mean, you get a full dance floor going.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I got to play in Anoka. They have a reoccurring festival that's put on by Nice Music called Jam by the Dam. And I was fortunate and lucky enough to get to headline the event this year. And that just happened this last Sunday. And there had to have been, by the time like we were 2/3 of the way through the set, there were probably like 30 or 40 people dancing up front, which was awesome. You know, like getting to experience that, you know, in a live setting is so special.
Well, and getting people out on the dance floor in the god awful heat we've been having is impressive. You know, it's one thing when we can have our cool falls, but now it's just.
Well, especially on a Sunday afternoon too, you know.
For sure. It was like, we got lucky. It was overcast, but it was still like 85 degrees and like pretty humid. So yeah.
Yeah.
When I was done with the set, we walked off stage so the MC could get back up on stage, and I looked back where I was standing, and there was like drips of sweat in like a 16-inch circle of just like, it looked like it had rained there. It was crazy.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Are you performing with a full band mostly, or is it because I've seen where you're doing basically everything, and I believe these 2 tracks you did all of it yourself.
I did, yep. I would say that like live wise, it's about half and half. And even when I was doing Crankshaft, somehow it just ends up to be like half of the shows that I play are one-man band shows and half I'm doing with the trio. Like moving forward, my goal is to do more trio shows and then like add a horn section in a live setting. But like we kind of have to have more progression in like things moving on from the state where we're at right now for that to happen, because to support that kind of band you have to have also like a decent amount of income to, you know, make sure that the horn section is getting compensated for it, you know. So I guess like for right now it's like half and half band, 3-piece band and one-man band shows, and the goal for the future is to lead like bigger bands, which I got to do like, you know, a decent number of times as stage staff. I got to play with backup singers and like horn section and harmonica players and keyboard players and stuff like for special events. My goal is to like do that more frequently in the future. So
how does that feel different? I mean, obviously it sounds different, but how do you prepare for it? How do you to shift from having one of you to three of you to a full band sound?
Well, the biggest difference is like when you're working with a horn section, unless you're working with a horn section all the time, you need to have more structure to the songs. Like sometimes like the band and like the guys that I play with are like really well-rounded musicians. Like, both of the guys that I'm playing with right now are like pros, you know, like they did this full time for their profession. And like, for instance, like on Sunday, there were a couple times where I would play the song, and then when the last verse was done, I would start with like the second verse again and then hit the bridge again, because there were so many people on the dance floor that I was like, oh, I don't really want this song to end. If you're doing that with a horn section, it gets like way more complicated. Like whoever's leading the horn section has to be like pointing at all the charts and like letting the guys know, hey, he's doing the second verse again, and there's going to be a bridge again, you know. So you kind of have to, you know, like, I guess, you know, if I was a pitcher in a baseball team, like the horn player would be like the catcher, you know, and like you just have to like have a good relationship with somebody that would be willing to let you run that freely, you know what I mean? So I guess that's the biggest difference is most of the time you have to like stick to an arrangement, because usually the horn section, like those guys are all reading off of charts, you know? So if you're not going by a regimented like horn situation, you're kind of like getting into uncharted territory, which can be a little nerve-wracking for everybody, you know?
No. Well, it's fun to hear that balance of you know, you can have all the spontaneity in the world if you're on stage alone.
Oh yeah, one-man band, like, one-man band has been like the crazy thing about being a one-man band is like, I get like what I'll do sometimes is I'll get to the end of the song, and then without even a half of a second, I'll hit the next song, and it's like a different tempo, different key, like different feeling. And like, I can get away with that because I know what's going on in my head. But, you know, when you got other guys that are like, you know, with you on stage, you have to learn how to work with everybody so that everybody's on the same page.
But it makes it fun for me, for Heather, to see you in all permutations.
Oh, cool. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. Why do we go to live shows? Because we want, you know, if we wanted to hear it one certain way, we'd listen to the album again and again and never leave our homes. It's way more fun to see how the interaction with everyone.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. It's fun for us too, like getting that synergy from the crowd and like sharing the experiences. It's an awesome feeling. I've written about that. There's a Crankshaft song called We're on Fire that's like talks exactly about that synergy between the crowd and the band. And that's what I can say, you know, for me, for sure. And a lot of the guys that I've worked with, like, that's what we do it for, you know, like to experience that. It's not something that you can get in many other realms of life. And it's really special when it happens, you know, when the crowd's on fire and the band's on fire, and there's just like, you're feeding off of each other's energy, and it's a special thing. So that's kind of why we do it, you know?
I was going to say, we get on the dance floor, we're going to make you play a 3-minute song for like 30 minutes because we're like, nope, it's still going. Alex, keep it going.
Yeah. You get along well with my girlfriend Cindy. She's got more energy on the dance floor than you can imagine.
I love it. I love it. Tell us, okay, you have the all together two that we were talking about, the sultry feel, but when I was looking at your Instagram, because you had mentioned that You're So Cool song for your girlfriend, there was one that caught my attention, and I have to see. I think it was called
Do you
the
see if we're?
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, see if we're of one mind. I'll be good to you.
Nope.
Nope.
It was the Ghetto Farmtastic, where I was like, and it says reggae with rockabilly, and I was like, what? I want to dance to that song.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is like I have the song written and I have it arranged, but I don't have it memorized yet because I've been working construction for like the last 3 weeks, so I haven't had a ton of time to rehearse. So I'm like what I'm doing at shows now is just like playing stuff that I know inside and out. So things are going to slow down next week for me, and I'll be able to like get back to rehearsing and whatnot. But yeah, that song "Ghetto Farmtastic" is kind of a goofy song because yeah, it's like it's got reggae and then like these lead-in riffs are like totally rockabilly inspired, and like somehow it works together. It's like, yeah, it's really weird, but it's great. I love doing that, like genre melding, you know, like I think it's interesting for me, and I think it's interesting for the listener too, because it's like, you know, it gives you a flavor that you might not hear anywhere else, you know. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting that one in the bag. That's definitely going to be on the next album. So yeah, it's awesome that you mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I was like, if we can put a request, not that it has to happen, but at the Dubliner, if you have enough time, well, I would definitely get my dance on.
Awesome.
We'll test it out. No pressure.
I'll try to get it memorized before then. The thing of it is, like, I really don't like reading from lyric sheets, so like I gotta play a song, you know, like 15, 20 times before I can before the lyrics get into my head, because you know, like, it's funny. One time I was talking to my barber, and he was like, "So you got a new song? You've been writing the new song? Like, are you gonna play it tomorrow?" And I was like, "No, I haven't memorized it yet." And he's like, "You haven't memorized it yet? You wrote it." And I was like, man, like writing a song and memorizing a song are like two different skills, man. Like, and it was just funny to hear that from somebody, you know. Like, I always think back on that whenever I'm like learning a new song and memorizing it. I always think about Justin being like, "What do you mean you don't have it memorized? You wrote it."
Well, yeah, and you have quite a few that you've written too. So it's like, wait, which one am I singing now here?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, sometimes I can't, like, I'll be performing and I'll be like, I can't remember the first verse, and then like the spot where the first verse was supposed to be sung like already passes, and now I'm like a bar into where I should be singing already, and then I'm like 2 bars into where I'm singing already, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sing the second verse because I know how that one starts, you know. So yeah, it's weird. It's an interesting thing to do with your time. It's never a dull moment.
I've seen Billy Bragg, who's closer to my age than yours, just about hand the mic over to an audience member because you can see it's a song he hasn't done in years. He's like, I don't know. I don't remember it.
Right. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. It's like, I know the chord changes, but I can't remember the lyrics for the life of me.
That's funny. We've lost you in video, but do we still have you in audio?
I think so. I got a phone call coming in. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I got to go back to here we go. All right, you got me now?
Yep. Yep.
That was actually my bass player. I got to call him back after we're done with the interview.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be quick because we want you. We got it. What I do want to make sure we talk about, because one of us lives walking distance to the Dubliner, so we're very likely to be there that night. But let's see if collectively we can remember. We've got a bunch of shows coming up in August and September.
Yep.
We've got the Bayfront Blues Fest.
Yep.
Did I say that right? On August 15th.
Yep. We're playing at 4:00 in the acoustic tent as a 3-piece band.
Nice. And that's always kind of an amazing weekend, that festival.
Yep. I've played, I think I've played, this might be like time number 5 or 6 for me.
Wow. Fantastic.
So yeah, I've always had a good time there.
Nice. You've got Chow Bar and Grill in Elk River on August 26th.
Yep. That's, we start at 6 and play 3 sets. The food is really good there. Like, all the people that I know that have eaten there have like raved about the food. So, and it's a family friendly event too, which is great. So
Nice.
if you live in the northwest suburbs, like, that's a good spot to see the band. It's an intimate setting. It's outdoors.
I was just gonna say outdoors.
Cool.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Then you've got the Dubliner in St. Paul. I know that one, University and Pryor on August 29th.
Yep, that's also an outdoor show. That'll be a one-man band performance starting at 5:00. Depending on the weather, if it's like super hot, I might be playing inside, but it's more likely that I'll be outside on their patio for that one.
And I think for people who are concerned, they have that plastic shield up on the stage, don't they? Or did they take it down?
Yep.
Okay.
They did have a plastic screen over the stage for probably like 5 or 6 months or something like that. But yeah, they just took it down recently.
Okay. Just always made me think of the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, right.
for you're playing in Andover, and I don't remember the name of the place.
Margie's. That's it used to be. This is like dating myself, but when I was in high school, it was a video update.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, now it's like a fancier type restaurant, like grass-fed beef, like that type of place.
Okay.
It's completely remodeled on the inside. It doesn't look like video update at all.
Rats.
Yeah. It's a good spot. Shannon Kerfman actually books that event. She's kind of locally known, so that's a cool little side fact about that gig.
Nice. And that's September 9th. And then the last one I got here is the 331 on September 15th.
Yep, that's for Kathy Schwalbe's birthday. Dan Schwalbe's wife. Dan Schwalbe's in the Minnesota Blues Hall of Fame for lead guitar players.
Okay.
And his wife Kathy is really good friends with Harold Tremley, who hosts House Party on KFAI. So she always requests to Harold that for her birthday party, he books me for the Harold's House Party show at the 331 Club. So I'm super excited to play for Kathy's birthday again.
That's awesome.
She's got an amazing spirit, and I love her and Dan, and it's always a good time. So
that's amazing. The 331, we'll have to remember that. That one's always free. 331's always free. So that's.
Yep. Don't forget to feed the tip bucket.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yes. Thank you. The tip bucket is always important. So that's good.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing too, though? Going along with your intention, communal of your lyrics and your writing, I see that it's bled into your merch too, and your T-shirts that you have.
Yep.
It has lend a helping hand on one of them and One Earth, which I think that's a cool factor too, that you put it on there, I guess, is what I want to say.
Thank you. Yeah. the cool thing about all three of those shirts that are on the website is there are three different artists, and then all three of the artists received the lyrics for Atmosphere We're Under, and that was their interpretation of those lyrics.
Ah, that is cool.
So yeah, nobody knew, none of the artists knew that any of that was happening, and none of them heard the song. They just read the lyrics, and then that's what they came up with the visual for them.
Ooh, that is a good fact.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Thanks.
Will you have those with you at the shows too?
Yep.
Okay.
I always travel with CDs and records, and I've got two different LPs that I'm carrying over from the Crankshaft days. Then also the 7-inch record, and then three different t-shirt designs, and I have those in unisex, and then cap sleeve, the shorter style cap sleeve shirts. And I got lighters that say Alexander Craig on one side and Boogie on the other. And I got bumper stickers. That's the merch that I got. It's at every show.
Nice.
That's
nice.
Good. That's good. And you've got a video that's coming out in a couple of weeks here.
I think I'm going to post the teaser for the music video tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm planning on releasing, if everything goes well, the music video will be released on Wednesday, September 1st, right before Labor Day weekend.
Is the video already done, or are you still working on it, or?
The video's in the bag, it's 90% there. It's all cut, and all of the content is there, but the clips need to be, some of the clips need to be vignetted and colorized, and the brightness and contrast and stuff changed. So that's just part of the process. That's one of the last things you do when you're editing is make sure that your edits look good when they're transitioning with each other. And that's the last thing that I have to work on. So yeah, it's almost there. It'll be there by the 1st, I'm sure.
Good. Well, I can't wait to see it. But now, are you very, very hands-on with the video, or do you have people, or?
I have a videographer that captured all of my performance footage. And he's got a little studio that we shot all of that footage in. The weird thing about the video is it was actually shot last summer, but I didn't want to release it until things were different with the pandemic, because I even had the 7-inch record I've had since I think November. So it's all this stuff is kind of coming out after I've had it in hand for quite a while. But to answer your question, I have a guy that shoots me performing the song, and then I edit it all together.
Okay.
So in this particular video, because of the pandemic, I used a lot of what they call content creator freeware,
Mm-hmm.
People will do videography, and then they'll submit the content to Pixabay or whatever, and then
Sure.
you can download that content, and it's freeware, you can use it as you want. So I have to give them credit at the end of the video, because it was with the structure of the song being Atmosphere We're Under, I kind of wanted to do a worldview type music video anyway. And it kind of just worked out conveniently that I used that open source video for the content of the video, because I literally dipped my hands around the whole world to collect footage to splice into the video in between my live performance.
Oh, good. Now I'm excited to hear that. We've seen some interesting uses of that. I think that's, one of those silver linings from COVID is people have found out and been using more of these resources. So awesome. I can't wait to see it now. That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Good.
it turned out really good. I've showed like a half a dozen people, and they're all pretty stoked about it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what everybody else thinks.
Well, and I can only imagine the study and patience you've had since since November, sitting on the music, and you're cooler than I am. I would have burst.
It's been an interesting last year and a half. So yeah, I'm making the best of the situation.
Well, the timing is good and the music is good, and I think you've really tapped into that kind of collective in a more shared view of the world with folks. I like that very much. It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, for folks who are listening, where can they find you online?
The best stop would be my website. That's alexandercraig.com. I have an Instagram account that's alexandercraig83, and I'm Alexander Craig on Facebook.
Okay, great. Thank you. It's been so much fun to talk to you, and we've got that date marked down for the Dubliner. We'll see what we can do there. So
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Hopefully I'll have learned and memorized Ghetto Farmtastic for you by then.
No pressure. No
you
pressure.
can shoot us the lines and we can feed them to you off
Yeah.
line, please. We'll shut them up. So great. Alex, thank you so much for your time and for your music.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.